Good afternoon, respected members. I welcome all of you to this fourth technical session of the day, focusing on the theme that is gaining tremendous relevance for our profession. Integrating environmental and social governance in business and assurance, new frontier for the chartered accountants. It is my privilege to welcome our distinguished panelists for this session. Now I request C.A. Sanatan Banik, convener of Chaudhary Square OPS CP Study Circle, to the dais. Welcome you, sir. Now I request Central Council member CA Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Singhal to the dais. Please give a big round of applause. I welcome you, sir. Thank you. Now I request panelist CA Raj Malik to the dais. Now I request moderator of the session, C.A. Arvind Agrawal. I welcome you, sir. Let me give a big introduction of all the dignitary and panelists. C.A. Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Singhal is a Central Council member of ICI, Chairman of the Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, Vice Chairperson of the Sustainability Reporting Standard Board. He is the member of the National Financial Reporting Authority, Director of XBRL India, and he is the leadership ICI SRB has driven a key initiative to enhance sustainability reporting, develop assurance standards, and foster dialogue with regulator and policy makers. With this, I welcome you, sir. Let me introduce Raj Malik, sir. He is Controller and Chief of Business Performance of Financial Analyst at Reliance Industry Limited. He has extensive experience in capital management, internal control, and corporate governance. He plays a key role in ensuring financial integrity and operational excellency with the organization. With this, I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, introduce C.A. Arvind Agrawal. He is the founder and CEO of Stirrup Communication Consultants. He is a dynamic, multidisciplinary consultancy dedicated to helping organizations build enhancement and sustain their corporate reputations through strategy, stakeholder-focused communication solution. He has over 2 decades of experience in communication industry. He brings deep expertise in corporate reporting, ESG strategy, sustainability, communication, employee engagement, and brand storytelling. With this, I welcome you, sir. C.A. Sanatan Banik, the convener of Chaudhary Square OPS CPA Study Circle. Now I request Team EIRC to felicitate and present memento to the panelists of the session. Please give a big round of applause to Sanjeev Singhal, sir. Please give a big round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. Now I hand over the session to the moderator of the session, CA Arvind Agrawal, for further proceeding. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And a very warm welcome to all of you. I can't see because of the darkness, but there's a lot more people now in the hall than there were immediately in the previous two sessions. So I guess we are lucky. We don't have much time and Raj has to rush to the airport. So we will get started. But just wanted to get a sense check in terms of how many of you present in the hall are aware about the term ESG. Can you please raise your hands? Right? So I can see about 20 hands, if I'm not mistaken. How many of you have heard of the word or the report called BRSR? 1. Okay, 2, 3, a few more, right? And how many of you have actually read a BRSR? 1 person, 2 person, 3 people, all right. Now, you know, I must say that in the session before this, the 2 speakers spoke very effusively about the opportunities for chartered accountants going forward, and they mentioned the word ESG and carbon accounting quite a bit, so I think it's a good segue for us to take it from there. But before I get into the session, I just want to say that I'm also a chartered accountant from Calcutta, and you know, immediately after doing my CA, I did something that I was told was not related to my profession or the education, but here I am 20 years later moderating a session on something that has taken all this long to recognize. So here is to Kakati and Sudarshan Agarwal coaching classes and Vikas Berry and all of the young people who've sort of, you know, come through that particular journey. Raj also is a chartered accountant from Calcutta, now settled in Reliance and settled in Bombay. Actually, settled in Reliance is also not a bad term. So I think what we will do in this session is to use the expertise of Singhal Saab and Raj to perhaps uncover a few insights about what this field is all about and what are the opportunities for us, right? To give you a sense, you know, once the auditor signs off the balance sheet, there is a lot that goes into it before it is sent to shareholders. And that entire product is called the annual report. I have spent almost 25 years now in helping companies produce annual reports and work with many seniors across industry. But over the last 10 years, the concept of value creation and the concept of communicating what the performance of an organization has been has extended beyond numbers like revenue and bottom line and ROC and PAT to more like what is your per ton emission? How water positive are you? Okay. Before I came on stage, I just read a news item that the new Labour Code of India has been made effective today, right? Now, you will see a lot of new disclosures coming in with respect to how we are handling people and how we are handling the workforce just by application of this new labor code. So it's an entirely different world, but it's very solidly connected to business. And in my opinion, it's very solidly connected to the training that all of us have received. With that, my first question will be to Raj to let us understand what exactly ESG comprises and why large companies are benefited from this information and what are some of the things that they are doing to sort of, you know, communicate that and why does it make sense? Yes, Raj, right.
Thank you, Arvind. Before even I go and respond to the question that Arvind has said, I would like to tell something. Just like Arvind started the session, how many of you heard ESG? How many of you heard about BRSR? 2 years back, I came here, this very place, and I had a session on ESG, and I asked. There was none who raised hand, and today around 20 So things have progressed, things are moving in Kolkata and eastern part of India.
Excellent.
So, but in the corporates, things are even moving more faster. Those who are in the corporate sector in the auditing space, I'm sure that you people must be aware of this. Okay. So before that, what is ESG? Even before explaining what is ESG, the same question which Arvind asked was asked by one of the person who was the head of one of the very reputed global framework and the head of the Asia Pacific region. And she used to come and talk to us about, because we used to follow her framework. Throughout my life, I have studied sustainability and I have studied abroad, all big places, and I've been working on sustainability. Suddenly, last 2-3 years, suddenly people have forgotten sustainability and people are using ESG. And this conversation I had around 3 years back, when suddenly people started about talking about ESG. ESG is nothing but sustainability, that is fact. But the ESG term came from investors, okay? So the investor community and the analyst community specifically found that sustainability, the term does not explain the entire gamut of the topic. So they have used the term, coined the term ESG. E stands for environment, S stands for social, and G stands for governance. Whenever we spoke sustainability, we always thought of only of environment, emission. Governance is as much as important like with as emission. That is what the term ESG stresses. So E stands for environment, S for social, governance. Environment means water, air, emissions. Social means what the corporates and what we are doing for the society, the people at large society, whether the government, people around. And governance, basically in India or across the world, governance we meet by governance by board. You must be knowing, you must be aware also that most of the large companies in India as well as in abroad has now got an ESG committee in the board, a board committee, because governance is done very much in the board. You name any reputed company, you will have a ESG committee or in the board.
Lovely. But Raj, what I would like, and you know, being a chartered accountant, I must say that, you know, Raj has championed and helmed the entire ESG disclosures of Reliance for many years. But what is the relevance of this to investors? Why should investors care about what kind of water recycling or water positivity is happening? Why should investors care about what number of training hours have been given to people? Why should investors care about how many people from marginalized communities have you employed in your organization? These are some of the questions that are asked by rating agencies, by framework setters, by domestic regulators, and so on and so forth. But from a corporate standpoint, both from a large and a small corporate standpoint, why is communicating this important? What value do they derive out of it?
Well, again, I have been meeting the analysts and investors for last 10-15 years. So previously, before 4 or 5 years, okay, before this entire movement of ESG gained pace, investors used to come, they used to ask a lot of questions, EBITDA, your business plan, what you are doing for business, where you are expanding, your technology, your R&D, your debt, your interest, everything. After the meeting was over, over a cup of coffee, over a cup of drink, or while having dinner, people used to very lightly ask, ESG mein aap log kuch karte ho? Are you doing something on ESG? Is it important? What exactly you are doing? And it was it was a question that, you know, give us a lot of comfort. We knew that is the end of it now. Now they will move out. And okay, but since last 2-3 years, now almost every month we have some communication, some meeting with the analyst and investors community, which is only on ESG. So ESG gained that much importance over last 3-4 years. Now, if you say for a CFO, ESG is a really trouble. Okay, really a trouble for him, really a big task for him. Now, why the community or why the world as such is looking into ESG? Because now people have woken up, the governments, the corporates, the regulators, the analysts, and everyone. Now people have started believing that if we don't do something very soon, the world will come to an end. People have now started believing, a little bit of fear has cropped into people's mind, and one day our lovely Mumbai may be drowned or under the seawater, or Shanghai may not be there, London may not be there. So it all started from the West actually started from West, and now it has come back to come to Asia, and now I think corporates also. When people, that worry comes, that fear comes, the analysts, the regulators become very active. When regulators come, there are mandatory regulations which makes corporates be worry. And here the analysts are very important, because if corporates know, if they are not serious, lot of funds which they are getting today may not be got, because some of the analyst investors have told that until you are walking in the path of ESG, will be not be there to support. So that is how it has come, and now it's a big thing. I mean, India with SEBI has taken a very proactive step with BRSR, which at some point of time I'll talk 2 minutes of that. I think they have leapfrogged the entire compliance and the communication of the ESG is concerned.
Thank you very much, Raj. And I think just to add to that, from my personal experience, what I can say is that the investing community is now looking at value creation from a 360-degree and a holistic standpoint, simply meaning that it's not enough for you to generate profits and returns today. How are you ensuring that those returns will be available to you on a consistent basis 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now? And for that to happen, your entire stakeholder community needs to be very solidly behind you. And if that's not the case, then any stakeholder can disrupt the business. And I have a whole presentation that I do on how there is democratization of even protest and disruption, but that's for another day. My question to Singhal Saab, who's the Vice Chairman also of the Sustainability Reporting Standards Board, is that, sir, what do you think chartered accountants who are predominantly trained in financial accounting can do in the space of highly technical subjects which are non-finance related, such as carbon accounting and emission calculation and so on and so forth? And what is the interplay between SEBI's disclosure requirements and how the Icai Eye is setting guidelines for those disclosures? So if you could please throw some light.
Thank you, Arvind. And Raj is a very good and an old friend. In fact, let me tell you, Arvind, that ICI is leading from the front this whole initiative of Sustainability Board. In 2020, this board was established, and I happen to be the founder chairman of the board. And our Sustainability Reporting Standard Board is the world's first board dedicated to the sustainability. Not only this, ISSB was set up after we have set up SRSB. We are the world's first professional organization which has come out with a sustainability reporting maturity model. Means if there is an organization, say Reliance or Unilever or Vedanta or ITC or Imami or Air India, so they can evaluate that where do they stand on that 300-point scale. Are they at the initial level, which is level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4? Next, we are the world's first institution to come out with an audit standard on sustainability. We are the world's first, because Institute worked with Security Exchange Board of India at that time, to come out with a formal, say, BRSR reporting. That time there were no S1 and S2, which was issued by the International Sustainability Standard Board. So when we say that what chartered accountant role is or what they have to do, we have shown the way to the world. I happen to be the chairman of the United Nations Sustainability Board for 2 years, the global chairman, which has never ever happened in the past that India got this opportunity. Not only this, that our board was recognized by UN. We got the highest marks in the world among all the 70 countries which applied, and we got the first prize at Abu Dhabi. So the chartered accountants are much ahead of others. This is just to say कि ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग इसमें पीछे हैं या ये subject हम लोगों के लिए नहीं है. This is very much a domain of the chartered accountants, and ICI has shown this path. India is the first place where assurance is mandatory for BRSR. Nowhere in the world this is mandatory. We have reporting mandatory for 1,000 listed companies. Assurance was mandatory in 23-24 for 150 company. In 24-25 for 250 companies. This year it is for 500 companies. Next year it's for 1,000 companies, which covers 99% of the market cap. We have also made reporting mandatory for the value chain partners if they contribute more than 2% of the revenue of that company. So this field is not something on which chartered accountant cannot have any role to play in. When I was working with Jubilant Life Sciences, I was heading the ESG division, and that is some 15 years ago. That time also we were reporting, of course, that time it was not BRSR, it was BRR, Business Responsibility Reporting. So this is one area. In fact, I have a book on sustainability in which we have identified 56 types of opportunities in ESG itself. I just give you two examples. One is a sustainable finance. When COP28 happened, I represented India at COP28 Dubai. The sustainable finance requirement for India is 57 lakh crores. We are chartered accountants, we arrange finance. We know that what is the fee that we get when we arrange funding. Now think of 57 lakh crore and what is the potential fee earning for us. Then you talk about, say for example, this conference is a carbon neutral conference. Somebody who emits carbon and somebody who has surplus offsets, who can bring them to a common platform and facilitates that trading. There is the role of chartered accountants. So likewise, we have identified 56 areas within sustainability where chartered accountant can play a stellar role. So this is an emerging area. For example, we also have a program, I think on 3rd December here, about accreditation in the gold industry. So we have brought that gold industry within the ambit of chartered accountant, where 6 lakh value chain partners in the gold industry will be accredited by chartered accountants. So it's a sunrise area, sustainability. And if we can't do it, I don't think there is anyone else who is better equipped than chartered accountant. Yes, we need engineers, we need environmentalists, we need botanists, and we need to join hands with them. But definitely this is a very rewarding area.
Absolutely. But, just to throw some light on, it's a massive opportunity. I was reading a McKinsey report which said that just last year, almost $600 million were invested in companies that were providing ESG services around the world. And I might add that, my company is perhaps amongst one of them, because we got acquired by a Singapore-based ESRGC platform last year. Having said that, why do you think the awareness about this opportunity is still relatively low? What are some of the insights or some gyan that you can give people in terms of what they should be looking up to improve their awareness and maybe participate in this absolute white space where there is potential for massive growth?
Read, read and read. Issued is doing the capacity building program since last 4 years. We have trained over 3,000 members in BRSR. It's a question, see, if we already have sufficient work on GST and direct taxes and bank audit, etc., we don't feel the need. But when the competition rises, when the fees start going down, or when the work gets allocated to others, we start looking for the alternative opportunities. So I believe it's a platter full, which doesn't encourages us to look for newer opportunities, but those who are enterprising, who likes reading, or who are looking for newer alternative. I know Raj was a financial controller. He moved into this ESG role. So it is, not everyone would like to take up sustainability. Not everyone would like to take up audits. Not everyone would like to take up, say, gold industry accreditation. It's one's flavor. And today the awareness is lot. I mean, Raj may be saying from 0 hands to 20 hands. We need to see how many we were able to see because there is darkness here. But I can tell you that today it is all over. Even if you look at a 6th class student, ESG is there in his textbook also. So if we keep our eyes and ear open and keep reading, I think it is not a difficult thing.
I just I just got reminded, when Singhal Saab said about, the 6th class student, and I always think about this and talk about it, that हम लोगों को बचपन से एक टर्म सिखाया जाता है और वो जब हम हमारी दीवार पे भी लिखते हैं, and that word is Shubh Labh, right? That profit has to be Shubh, it has to be pious, it has to be proper, it has to be of a certain quality, and that's the meaning of Shubh Labh to me. Today, I don't think ESG is anything except just the concept of, how conscientious your profit is. Having said that, Raj, you are now on the corporate side, and from an opportunity standpoint, as a large corporate, you will have hundreds of service providers, and now, like Singhal Saab mentioned, the value chain partners are supposed to be brought into the ambit, so that's a massive, massive opportunity. There is also product life cycle assessments that have to be done. There is also a lot of carbon neutrality commitments that people have to make. I have 2 questions for you, Raj. One, what kind of services are you looking to outsource from the professional community? And what will make you go to a CA firm or a newly entered CA firm in this space vis-a-vis somebody like a Big Four who is bringing together a lot of other, because the Big Fours are not operating purely as accounting firms, especially in this space, right? They are aggregating a lot of technical talent and packaging it for you. So from a corporate standpoint, what would make you source some of these services, and what can you tell that will excite people here to try and get into this?
So, if most of you or some of you doesn't know that how much Reliance Industries emits, emission numbers is, annual emission numbers, is 45 million. And we are not the highest in India, forget about the world. There are a lot of companies who are much, much higher than us, because some of the industry is very prone to emission, whether it's steel, whether it's minerals, etc., etc. Okay. Refining is also one of those areas, but we are not that prone as compared to others. We are in the middle layer. So if we have to manage this 45 million metric ton of carbon dioxide emission reported, and we have, say, more than 15 plants in diversified location, and each of these complexes has number of plants, and you have to account it, it is not an easy job. We have realized that it is not a year-end audit or year-end computation in Excel can do. So we need, in RIL, if you see, and I'm very proud of this company, that we are possibly some miles ahead than most of the other entities as per system, process, and people are concerned. So we have specific process, we have specific systems, we have specific audit done, and we have specific trained people. So ESG we have integrated in all the various activities of the business. The manufacturing team is also cognizant, and they do part of ESG. The finance, my team, I was looking after ESG, I still look after, I have some other things to look after, but I have a separate team of ESG which reports to me. Their job is only reporting. They only report and they only facilitate audit. The business teams look after the ESG, because you know that we manufacture plastics, so we have a facility of recycling 2 billion plastic bottles per annum, and it is ever increasing. So they have to manage that. There are huge number of regulations that have come up. We have to manage and ensure that we are in the 4 corners of law. In fact, we are much beyond that regulation. If regulation asks us to go 1 step, we make sure that we walk 5 steps. That is the philosophy ethos we work. So we realize it cannot be 5 people which can run ESG or report ESG. So we have ESG embedded in every teams. We have a central team who reports ESG, number 1. Secondly, internal audit of ESG is not mandatory yet. I understand in some of the countries, possibly Singapore, internal audit of ESG, statutory audit is not, statutory assurance is not there, but internal audit is there. In our company, we do internal audit of ESG also. There is a ESG team in internal audit team also. Now, I want to ask you a simple question. If we do all these things, still do we will achieve something? I think we will not achieve. Because this is only computation numbers and reporting numbers. Actually, if you want to really make some improvement and in ESG is concerned, you have to have a team that will change the mindset of the corporates. For one simple example, suppose an investment proposal comes. Everyone will evaluate, everyone will see EBITDA, ROI, etc., cash flow, everything they will see. But do anyone calculate and see whether these new projects will, how much increase of emission will happen, and how the company what steps the company will take to mitigate the emissions? No one does. If the company is not doing, they are missing big time. It means ESG is not part of the entire system. Take the case of CFO. Today I'm telling you, if someone has to become RIL CFO or in the leadership, and if he doesn't understand ESG, he is doomed. He will never become, because ESG is very much integrated part of system. So we have teams in the, so if you're in the corporate debt team or corporate finance team, if you don't understand ESG, if you can manage the analyst, then you are doomed. So we need chartered accountants in all fields who are trained with ESG, even though they are not ESG experts. Possibly his bread and butter will not be ESG, he will not do ESG day in, day out, but if he does not understand ESG, does not appreciate ESG, I think chance of getting his job in Reliance and other companies are becoming very bleak, because opportunities will be very, very, very less for that. So this is the reason, if you find out, all good in MBA institutes, they have started a course on ESG. Many of them have started ESG course. If you go abroad, a lot of universities started a course on ESG, because people are taking those courses because they want to know, they know that if they don't add the skill set, they will become obsolete in future. In institute and final also, the ESG is also a selective paper. So people, and lot of people take that paper because they understand ESG is very important. So I think now the most important thing about what Sir has said just now, Sanjeev ji has said, that okay, we have the GST audit, statutory audit, because now the trend is the BRSR audit is mostly moving to the statutory auditors. And there is a very big rationale to it, logic to it. Now BSG is required to be, the core BSG is required to assured. So why, if someone has to assure, they have to go see, understand number, processes, while the statutory auditor is already doing, why to bring another person in the platform and ask him, give access to the books of accounts. So most of the people, if you see, slowly the BRSR audit is going to the statutory audit. At least the big companies are doing like that. So from the auditing side also, if you want to be auditor on the other side of the table, ESG is definitely very important skill set, because you will definitely, someday you need to be part of that team who will assure or work towards the assurance of the BRSR and other ESG data. And last, many experts have predicted, and I also believe that today, if you see the annual report, in few years' time, 50 to 60% of the data will be relating to ESG, and the financial numbers will be much more than the financial numbers that you have in the annual report, which is difficult to believe, but that will happen.
No, it is not difficult to believe, because at least in the annual reports that we make, I would say that sustainability data and sustainability information is equal, if not more, in volume and numbers already. I mean, again, I was reading a report that I don't think companies are, how many financial KPIs are they reporting in an annual report beyond the accounts? It's 40, 50, at most 60 for very, very transparent companies. On a regular basis, I think companies today around the world are tracking approximately 110 or 115 ESG KPIs, because the number of variables and the number of factors that influence ESG are far, far more. Which brings me to my next question, which is around the use of technology in ESG, right? What kind of, because today you have a lot of products that have been made by either tech people or people with some kind of environmental understanding, which are promising to automate and to sort of, help aggregate, collect, collate and audit and help assure a lot of this ESG data, and there are many of these products. Do you think there is a productization opportunity for chartered accountants to team up with technology and build something that will be useful for the industry single sum?
One simple question to all of you.
Please carry on.
One simple question to all of you, that when you are auditing, did you find a tool or a ERP that calculates emission? The answer is no. Any top ranking, any reputed ERP, if you see, there will be they don't have a tool. They will calculate everything. They will compute everything. They will record everything extra emission. For emission, most of the people still do an Excel method. Yes. So, I mean, that is not possible. So in Reliance, this BRSR report, which is supposed to be year-end activity, we do it practically every month, and every quarter is reported to a leadership team, because we don't believe surprises, we monitor it like that. So we have a system in place which either takes the data from our ERP, then calculates it. Like, how is emission calculated? You will take the fuel data, fuel consumption data, you multiply with some of the weightage factors that is there, and then you will have the emission data. It's not as simple as it is, but more or less process is like this. Okay, that is the emission data. Other data, water consumption, air, etc., whatever data is there, some data will taken from the ERP directly, some data will take the ERP, then you have to compute it, and some data has to come to workflow, because it is not part of the financial system to workflow it. So we have that system. Otherwise, in a company like Reliance or any large company of that stature, if you start doing at the year end and in 15-20 days and in a diversified location with hundreds of plans, hundreds of numbers, they are bound to be mistakes. So system play a very important role. If you have correct ESG reporting, you need to have a system. Unfortunately, there are small systems available in the market. I have seen many of them, but for large companies, a ERP sort of thing, that is yet to be there. I feel it is the chartered accountants who has to understand it and build the system, and part of the company where they will build this system, because who understands data, who understands number, who understands audit, and who can be better custodian of data than us?
Absolutely.
No one else.
And most of the softwares that I have seen don't have India-specific emission factors, so that kind of makes it all the more difficult. But Singhal Saab, is there anything that you would like to add on the
No, definitely there is an opportunity as far as building a software is concerned. The only thing is that, we fail to charge a right price for this.
Companies don't pay the right price.
No, I have a different view.
Okay, yeah.
I have a different view. We don't charge a right price.
Okay.
If you show the value, people will pay you the price. In this very country, our own country, I know a consultancy firm, I can name it also, McKinsey, charge Indian Oil a fees of 300 crore rupees for refinery margin improvement. So it's not that people don't pay the fee.
Absolutely.
People pay the fee, you have to show the value. So if I am the consultant for, I'll not say for Raj is a friend, he may not pay anything, but otherwise to a company, what will be my selling proposition? My selling proposition is that this is the time that I'll save for you. Say for example, if they are spending 1,000 hours and I can reduce it to 100 hours, 900 hours, please work out the time cost, work out the overheads. Thirdly, I am reducing the risk of a wrong calculation. So the public image of a wrong reporting, attach a value to this. Of course, this is priceless. And if I say that, look, whatever I'm saving for you, I'm charging only X percentage of that. Because in this consultancy, you can charge as a percentage of the savings. So you have to demonstrate a value. And secondly, that tool should not be available to anyone, or it should not be made available by anyone else also. But what happens is that over a period of time, technology becomes obsolete, that idea will be copied. So whatever we do, we should think that whether we should get it patented also. So if we create a niche product, then certainly it has a value and it will sell well. Possible.
Right. So let me just broad base this discussion a little bit. We have spoken a lot about the E side of things, and typically the ESG discussion tends to be a little overweight on E, especially on emissions. But there is the S part and there is the G part also. As far as S is concerned, India is probably the only country in the world which what I call legislated philanthropy, right? So it's 2% of, so if you take the total corporate profit pool of India, 2% of that is mandatorily going into CSR activities, and there is impact assessment and massive audit required there also. Plus, if you look at the total formal and informal workforce of India, that also comes under the ambit of S into occupational health and safety, employee relations, and many other factors. So both to Raj and Dr. Singhal, what are some of the specific areas on the S side that you think one can focus on?
So, Arvind, again, India is the first country which mandated the S also in BRSR. GRI always had those standards. But if you look at S1 and S2, आपकी information के लिए S1 और S2, these are the names of standard जो International Sustainability Standard Board के हैं. They didn't have a standard on S. Now they are working on S3 and S4, which are social and biodiversity. So हमारे BRSR में तो already S भी है और G भी है. Now S क्या है? Social. Social में what is the kind of working conditions that you are providing to your employees? मैंने इनफैक्ट अभी अंटार्ड के फोरम पे GRI को बोला, why are you calling labor? Why can't you call it employees? Right? So the way you deal with them, dignity. Second, disparity in wages, कि men और women के wages अलग अलग तो नहीं है. Third, आप people with special abilities, उसको कितना employment देते हैं? Training hours आप कितने provide करते हैं? Are you providing minimum wages or not? These are the S element. So कहते हैं charity begins at home. आप 2% CSR तो करो, लेकिन पहले अपने employee को तो अच्छा pay करो. उनकी तो working condition अच्छी बनाओ. So S has always been there. अगर टाटास की बात करें, वो कब से सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अकाउंटिंग कर रहे हैं? 1970s से. तो S has always been there, and India is the pioneer in through BRSR also to bring in S as well as G.
Right. But specifically on areas like impact assessment, do you think, again, you know, CAs have a massive opportunity to do that? Yes.
Arvind, इसमें एक चीज बताऊंगा. Again, ICI is the first professional institute in the world which brought 16 social impact assessment standards. And we formulated what is Institute of Social Auditor of India, and there are more than 1,000 chartered accountants now who are qualified social auditors, and they are helping the NGOs getting listed on the NSE and Mumbai Social Stock Exchange.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Raj, you have anything to add on the S part of things?
Yes, this 2% of CSR, I mean, it is not a small sum, and every company is compelled to spend that. So that money is going in social sector. It is going to education, it is going to hospital, medical, it is going to upliftment of people. And so definitely S is very, very important. Well, again, when ESG is known as sustainability, and then S was not counted possibly. People didn't understand. Now ESG being ESG, there's a S into it. People understand S. Institute have done a fantastic job recognizing it, making social standards, because until that we accountants believe something which is accounted get measured, and which is get measured get monitored. So that path, I think, thanks to Dr. Singhal and the ICAI, so showing that path to all of us. So I think so S is, I think things have improved significantly over the last few years.
And I think, if I may add, I think even from a government standpoint, you will find a lot of studies being commissioned. You will find a lot of governmental input on things like extended producer responsibility, on, you know, creating these aspirational districts and what kind of social indicators the government is looking at. So if you take the United Nations SDG goals and how the Indian government is committed to that, and how corporates are feeding into that through their own goals, I think there is a massive whirlpool of opportunity that is created for people who understand the analytical part of things, but also have the empathy to sort of appreciate this. Having said that, I think one of the things that I often get to, yes? Yeah, no. Yeah, his flight is at 10 more minutes, right? Okay. Because I don't think we get you every day, Raj, so I think we'll spend 10-15 more minutes. You'll get your flight. If not, you'll get another one. Okay. But I'm just saying, you know, it seems as if the number of stakeholders in ESG have multiplied manifold, and therefore the number of indicators that companies have to report to also have sort of, you know, mushroomed all over the place. So you have your DJSI, MSCI, Refinitiv, which are your ratings. You have your CDP and TCFD and TNFD, etc., which are different, you know, topic specific. Then you have reporting standards like your integrated reporting, and now CSRD and ESRS and so on and so forth. Then you have GRI, then you have within India you have BRSR. How is it that people are supposed to make sense of this multitude of reporting standards? And while across the world the S1, S2 is directionally aimed at convergence, what do you think the institute can do to sort out that challenge for at least the reporters as to how to make sense of this alphabet soup and maybe adopt a global standard rather than create a new one?
First of all, Arvind, I am very proud of the fact that we have our own BRSR. We are second to none. We are not slave of anyone, and we are not bound to follow S1 and S2. It is India who will show it to the world. So I don't think that there is any dilemma among the Indian reporters that how to deal with this gamut of the different reporting standards. All the corporates, which are Indian corporates, they have absolute clarity that what is applicable to them is BRSR. They have no confusion in mind. So I don't
they
think
may not have confusion,
I don't think there is any complexity And BRSR is much more superior than S1, S2 or CSRD or ESRS. Now let me talk about ESRS. The European Union put a pressure and they deferred ESRS by 2 years. And now they're simplifying that ESRS.
Yes.
So I believe that BRSR is the best thing that could have happened in the field of sustainability. And absolutely there is no need to deviate from that.
No, I agree with
And
that.
at ICI, we are committed to the cause of the nation and we fully support the idea of BRSR.
Sir, that is the regulator standpoint. But if you look at customers, IT companies who have Europeans and sort of US companies as their customers, let's say if you're exporting steel to Europe, you will have to comply with CBAM regulations. You will have to do a lot which is driven by what your customer is requiring. So my question simply is there a possibility for any kind of global convergence on this sort of thing like IFRS? But
Arvind,
yes.
Arvind, my point is, Europe has also not adopted S1 and S2. So what is the kind of convergence we are talking about? See, you tell me when they have their ESRS, why they have not gone for S1, S2? If a company is working with Europe, let them do that additional reporting. India cannot be forced to adopt S1 and S2, and till the time as a country we take that decision, absolutely no need. As I said, BRSR is inferior to none. And if a company has an additional reporting requirement, let them do additional reporting requirement. On IFRS also, we have not adopted IFRS. I am the Accounting Standard Board Chairman. We have converged with IFRS.
absolutely, that's the convergence that, I was...
I don't feel a need for a global convergence.
Fantastic. Raj, what's your view on this as a reporter?
I think I completely agreed with Sanjeev ji. I have seen many frameworks. BRSR is miles ahead as far as completeness of ESG. Every framework is tilted either toward climate, either to the social, or BRSR is a complete framework. Secondly, the most important thing, in BRSR, you cannot leave anything blank. If you feel your answer is 0, you have to put 0. You cannot leave anything blank. You are required to answer everything, unless qualitatively or quantitatively. Where quantitative number is required, you have to put the number. That mandatory is also not there. Now I want to throw some light, why so many frameworks?
Yes.
So because the leaders or the political leaders of the countries did not wanted a framework by any other country to be followed by their, or mandatorily followed by the corporates of their country. So frameworks came out, and every framework came out with something in mind, right? So BRSR is possibly the only framework which is completely focused on reporting the all three aspects, E, S and G, in a very balanced fashion, and is a mandatory reporting.
But how is it enough for you to meet the requirements of rating agencies? For instance, there are companies that have chosen not to subscribe to what DJSI is asking or MSCI is asking, or not to subscribe to the CDP questionnaire and so on and so forth. But if you choose to subscribe to those, you will have to go far beyond the BRSR. So I'm saying from a complexity standpoint, BRSR is mandatory, and yes, you will do it, and yes, it's wonderful, and all of that granted. But my question was, is it an opportunity for chartered accountants that there are so many frameworks that you have a lot more to do, or is it complexity that will sooner or later sort of ease itself out?
No, actually we thrive on confusion. So many frameworks only create confusion. That is only one thing I can tell you. But people are getting smarter, and this confusion cannot last, and it never lasted for any aspect for a lifetime. So it will come down. So we'll have one framework, unified framework, which will be acceptable to everyone, and BSR will possibly lead the way.
Fantastic. We have only about 10 minutes more. So if there are any questions from the audience, we'll be happy to sort of, address. Sorry? Right, sir. Right. Why the need for ESG? I think I will sort of take it to my panelists, but I will just add to that question. my own view is, it is, like I said, it is, you have to demonstrate that value creation is not a one-lane race. It's not just about creating financial profit. That financial profit has to be, if you are a cement company and you are making a certain amount of profit today, you have to show that you have mining reserves for a very, very long time, and your emissions per ton of cement are within a certain norm, because cement, steel, these are called hard to abate sectors, right? Eventually, if you decide that, look, we cannot have this kind of emission, then the cost of production of cement is going to become very, very high. So ESG is important to keep cement affordable. Yes, please, yeah.
Let me answer in a simple words. Delhi gets choked from November to January by the stubble burning. The pollution index is shown as 400, 500. Actually, it is 1,000 and more. The lungs gets affected. Ultimately, what will happen? Either the Delhiites will shift, or the farmers will have to stop these burning of the stubble. Now, suppose here 10 factories come up in this area who pollute a lot. When we say why ESG required, they will say, well, look, we are doing production and this is happening. But as the citizens who have a right to live, will you not complain to the government that, boss, what is this happening? Put some measures in place so that we can live. That is what? That is the E element of ESG. Secondly, if there is an organization which treat people as slaves, do not pay the minimum wages, very bad working condition, will there not be a revolt and an appeal to the government that get the minimum wages implemented? Get the working conditions, mandate some working condition. What is that? That is S. Now the water that we drink, we believe this 10 rupees is very high, because when we get it in our home, probably it is 10 rupees for 1,000 litre. Well, I believe 10 rupees for this bottle is also not high. Because if the nature asks us to replenish this water, how much will be the cost? By 15th August every year, we consume annual resources of the earth. 7.5 महीने में हम 12 महीने के resources को consume कर लेते हैं. So 4.5 महीने के resources we are borrowing from next year, which means from our next generation. अपने बच्चों से borrow कर रहे हैं हम उनके resources. Should there be a price for that or not? And that is to act responsibly. इंडिया में circular economy हमेशा से रही. Our grandparents, our parents have shown that way. If there is a shirt that we wear, till the time it becomes a mop, is used as a mop, it is not discarded. But now what is happening? Because we have money, so we say, no, now it's not looking nice, I need a new one, and throw it out. That circular economy was respected in the good olden days. In COVID, everyone was able to breathe. Of course, somebody who was having an oxygen problem was not, but otherwise. So, why we need ESG? We need ESG to live longer, to leave something for our children. That is the basic need for which, because all resources are not renewable resources. Fossil fuel, petrol, will not going to last forever. मैं कह सकता हूँ, if I can buy petrol, why do I need an electric vehicle? If I can buy electricity, why do I need a solar power? No, but because non-renewable resources will not exist forever. That is why we need ESG. We need ESG for ourselves. We need ESG for the future of our children.
Beautiful. Raj, would you like to add your perspective?
I think after Sanjeev ji has spoken on this, such an impactful words, I think I need not add anything. I will
All right,
it.
Lovely. Any other questions? All right, since we are short of time and Raj has to go to the airport, I would say thank you very, very much for your time. I think it was an absolutely insightful session. I just hope that all of us took away some insight with respect to what kind of opportunities we have, irrespective of whether we are new chartered accountants or experienced ones, whether we are in industry or whether we are in practice, whether we are more inclined towards tech or more inclined towards consulting. I would say that ESG as a practice has something in it for everyone, so it is not, you can leverage any of the skills you have and still generate some value out of this, provided you have the passion. So with that, thank you very much, Raj. Thank you very much, Sanjeev ji. It's been an absolute honor. And thank you so much to the EIRC for facilitating this. Really, really grateful. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the conference and a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all the panelists. Now I request CA Sanatan Banik sir to offer a formal vote of thanks to all the panelists.
Good evening, friends. It is an honor to deliver the vote of thanks today on behalf of EIRC. I sincerely thank our distinguished panelist, CA Dr. Sanjeev Singhal, CA Raj Malik, and CA Arvind Agarwal. The speaker on the dais have enlightened us with ESG, which is a very new, not new, but not a popular word among our orthodox chartered accountant. So they have enlightened us with the ESG concept and give the new, suggest us the new opportunity for our younger generation in this field. Especially now I thank on behalf of EIRC, I thank the organizer and volunteers whose hard work made this evening meaningful and run smoothly. And of course, heartfelt thanks to our wonderful audience for their valuable times and support. Thank you. Thank you all.